Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. It is 11:52, Monday, the first full trading session. Well, not the first, the second of 2026. And this video is going to be a little bit different. There's going to be a lot to unpack here. Obviously, geopolitical, economical, there is a lot to review. I spent quite a bit of time over the weekend putting together some notes, jotting down some things that I thought were important to discuss in the video, and hopefully just give a backdrop to investing, how we should position and structure ourselves to invest, or at least how I'm investing. Remember, this is for educational purposes. This is not financial advice. So I'm going to jump into just the overall, some keynotes that I wrote down. Let's start off. We know what happened on Saturday with Maduro from Venezuela being taken and brought to the United States to face criminal charges. That has created a trickle effect in so many areas of the investment world right now, way beyond the initial just oil, gas conversation. It's really sparked a lot of pundits, I should say, economical pundits, or economists rather, to speak up this morning, and a lot of positive information coming out in many aspects. Before I go into stocks individually, I'm just going to touch on the fact that we've had, just BlackRock. BlackRock this morning came out and said that this landscape has become very favorable for investors. They were talking about how they see increases in GDP, just an overall positive climate for investing. Goldman Sachs came out as well this morning, talked about how they anticipate December payroll numbers are going to be up quite substantially in a positive trajectory. So that's Goldman Sachs telling you they expect better numbers. This morning, Edmund D. Rothschild, who's an analyst from Benjamin Mellman, and I heard this actually replicated. A lot of people feel that the Venezuelan actions could actually be de-inflationary for us in the short to midterm. I'll spare you all the reasons, but they basically went on to say that it's going to help offset some inflationary measures. Whether accurate or not, I'm just going on what the economists are saying. These are not people that are specifically politically driven one way or another. These are economists that are talking about it. I do think it is going to help in some inflationary method. Over the weekend, I found one of the charts to be unbelievable that, so many people had uttered over the years, or over the last 10 to 12 months, that foreigners were taking money out of the United States. That's not true. Over the 12 months was the largest inflow into the United States stock market from foreigners in history ever. 700 billion worth of U.S. stocks were bought by foreigners abroad. That is the largest ever recorded. And so that should tell you something. If people from other countries are investing that amount of money into this United States stock market, it's difficult to fight that. I think, there's some people that are very, they look for talking points to say, well, money's being taken out and this and that, and we're weak. And that's just not accurate. The numbers, which you have to go by the numbers, forget your opinion, you go by the numbers. I went into kind of just the overall state of 2025. It seems we had positive shelter inflation. Lower inflation was brought down. GDP growth has increased. These are just metric numbers. Regardless on what political stratosphere you want to live on, I'm not even discussing that. These are all improvements in multiple aspects. And so you're just blinded if you're allowing yourself to see something politically to not see what's right in front of you and how things have improved numerically through these metrics. So they've improved, whether you like it or not. I'm just telling you it has. The numbers are there to support it. Don't kill the messenger. All right. So with that said, we have obviously the market right behind me is up quite substantially. Let's first just touch on the NASDAQ. So, I talked about, I was worried about that head and shoulders formation. And I'm hoping that today's move, which we should now see increased volume. I talked about the last couple of videos, how we had volume was just so low because of the holidays. Well, we should have substantial increase in volume today. If this holds the NASDAQ up over 1%, I mean, this is up substantially. This is a big move. Do not mistake that, guys. Like, this is a large move on the day. I'd love to see where that volume trickles out. We are now above all the major moving averages. We were getting tight. A move above this, where the line is really a very bullish move. I'd love to see a new high. A new high would really make me go pound the gas, but I'm looking for a high above this, which is 25,961, and that's really just straight go time. Put your foot on the gas. Still invested. I'd say I'm pretty much 60% invested, 60 to 65%. I'm very diversified in a lot of my investments right now, which I'm usually not as diverse. I'm more concentrated in the way I invest, but I am diversified at the moment. So I will say that this looks very good. If this closes today above this last day that was down, that was Friday, that was Wednesday, was the real knockdown day. If we could get above that Wednesday high on above volume of Wednesday, I'm optimistic. But then again, I'm like a palm tree in the wind. I bend and move to wherever the wind takes me. So if we have a downslide, I have stop loss set in place. I should be, or everybody should be okay if you're following the rules. So as you can see, the Dow is up 1.5 points. S&P is up. That's, the SPY. The Russell really having a great day. This is comprised of just mainly small cap and mid cap, a lot of growth names. I'm going to touch on Bitcoin real quick. I did buy a substantial amount of Bitcoin Saturday morning. It was my first large purchase outside of DCAing in probably months. I did make a nice purchase. I think a bottom is in. I don't think we might not see a low again. But I bought it when it was like 90.91. My target is to get a little bit over 100,000 on that purchase. So that was a purchase, the first large purchase I've made on Bitcoin in a while. I think the chart is showing some positivities. I think we did carve out a low. We were pinching in. I really like the way this 20 was curling up. That's kind of what drew me in. I'd love to see this 20 curl through the 200. That would be awesome and would make me even more bullish. So that's what I've done there. Now let's go gold. I have not trimmed an ounce of gold. I know we had this big day here that was really nasty. I talked about that could be the short-term high. We've seen this before. Precedent was set. Granted, today's move, 3% is humongous. That is a lot driven off of the economic, or I should say rather, the geopolitical news with Venezuela. That is going to have a move. All commodities across the board are having a great day. So gold really picking up. Okay, so we talked about how the economic data that has come out in the last couple of months has been very favorable, contrary to what economists, contrary to what political talking heads want you to believe. All the economic data is very fruitful at the moment, at least from what I can see. My theory, which I don't really know that it matters, I don't really know if anybody cares. My theory is we are in a bubble, an AI bubble, and I think the bubble will eventually pop. But I still think there's more upside in the market in many ways, and I think you have to bend and shift with that. Though, please don't mistake, I do think we are in an AI bubble, and at some point, someday, who knows, it will pop. But it really doesn't matter, because if you're following the rules and you invest correctly, like William O'Neill, is just the way I mirror the way he invests, you're in a good position. All right, so let's jump into some stocks. Let's talk first about oil. I know that's on the top of everybody's mind. So Chevron is the only American company that is actively in Venezuela. I anticipate there'll be more. It's up a lot for a stock like this to be up, almost 5.5%. You could see the volume already. We're not even midway through the trading day, and I don't see but more than a couple days over the last couple months that volume was that high. I anticipate this will probably set a record. I'm not telling you to go out and buy this, but it would not surprise me if this has more upside. Just pointing out the obvious here. Another one that I will have my eye on, This is probably my favorite chart if I'm going to buy. I did not buy it today, obviously, up 10%. Oh, but this is going to be one on my watch list to get into this week. I do want some exposure there, and I don't have much oil exposure. I'm going to also touch on uranium. So oddly enough, I traded this a lot during COVID. This is breaking out, 7% move up. I actually like this chart. I very well might buy this today. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I did not buy it. I wanted to buy it in the open. I didn't buy it. This is one I got my eye on. I think uranium is going to be a big winner this year. Something definitely to watch. I'm not currently in that, so for transparency, I do not have a position there. Okay, so let's go into the things that I do have a position in and what are my favorite charts and what am I investing in this year. My favorite right now is going to be American Eagle Outfitters. I've talked about this stock to nauseum over the last couple of weeks. This is starting to form a high tight flag. And if you know base pattern or patterns, this is a technical phenomenal pattern right now. So I still think this is a buy. I think this is going to be a big beneficiary in 2026. So I have both this as an investment and I have this as a trade. I would say it's a substantial position. I feel the same way about this stock that I felt about Robinhood last year. To give you context, I did very well on Robinhood last year. I made over 100% on my trade, and my investment is still active in my long-term account. So yeah, I like American Eagle. I am still in this position. That is definitely an actionable item. Again, not financial advice, but rather for educational purposes. All right, another one I'm in that seems to be doing really good. Babanco Madko, who having a good day today, but has done well for me over the course of the last 2 weeks. I scooped this up. I want to say here I'm up like 10 or 5 or 6% on it, not much. I had calls on this as well. I think this is going to also be a good benefactor from the geopolitical news. I still think this is actionable. Slow mover. It hasn't broken out yet, but when it breaks out, I do anticipate a higher move. Another one. So this, I mentioned this, I was really patient with Taiwan Semiconductor. This is broken out. This is 100% actionable. This had a great day on Friday. And then now is having another great day. You could see Goldman Sachs gave it a higher price target. They had a nice price target. A Taiwan Semiconductor is probably one of my favorite charts at the moment. I don't love the AI components. This is one that specifically I want to own more of. I have a nice position, but I will look to gate a larger position in the future. This is still actionable. One of my favorite stocks. I have done well on this. I think I'm up 15% on this, or maybe a little bit more. Another one, Reddit, probably my second favorite behind. I'm doing well on this one. This is still actionable. This is a great chart. Keep an eye. I think they got earnings coming up. No, I take it back. Taiwan has earnings in 2 weeks. Reddit is another chart I really like a lot. And I'm still in this. I still think this is actionable. And you can definitely nibble on that. Okay. All right. So let's talk also about some other names that I'm in here as to how I'm playing this. So I still have gold. I talked about that. I bought Palantir, and so I bought PLTW, and I got stopped out at the end of last week at a trade on PLTW. I got in again this morning, more so because obviously they had a influence on the whole Maduro CI operative, whatever. But anyways, I still think the chart has a little bit of action. I have a tight stop on this, so I need it to bounce. I got it this morning. I got stopped out last week in the middle of the week. And we'll see what happens. So I'm in that. United is one of those 2026 stocks that I believe is going to have a nice, healthy bounce back for the year. Up nothing, but you could see all of these moving averages are starting to pinch in nicely here. I think this is a good looking chart, and I still think we have some upside to be seen there. So that is one of my 2026 investments. Open is one of my 2026 investments. For you guys that are patient, this is still, give it time. This is still doing its thing. And I think this is going to break out. I'm still in this one. Another one that I'm in that I'm not doing great on, and I set it for an investment. So this is a highly speculative name. I've talked about Clay, who is this guy, Clay Siegel, who is the present CEO. He has a great reputation with bringing companies to market, getting them bought out. Yeah, I mean, I'm down on this stock. I'm definitely down. I think I'm down like 10%. I did not set a real stop loss on this. This is more of an investment. I changed my mind on this last week and I removed my stop loss, and I'm okay with that. I think this is going to be a huge winner this year. But again, look, if you're buying this, maybe set a stop loss here, give it some serious wiggle room. It's a little bit more speculative. I think it's going to be a huge winner this year. So this is an investment for me. I don't really care that I'm down 8% on that. I don't really care. I'm okay with that because it's an investment. Okay, we're at 16 minutes here. So one of the names that I'm watching that I really like is Seagate, Seagate Technologies. This is on my watch list for the week. I will probably buy this at some point tomorrow. I need to see how this is going to move, but this is one that please put it on your watch list. Keep an eye on it. I'm still in Abercrombie, another retail name. I'm still floating in. So I'm still here in this name. Definitely had 3 down days, which I actually bought more last week. I think this is going to be a huge winner in 2026. And I think that's it on the long side. Fortunately, today is definitely turning into being a really good day in the market. There's a bunch of other names that I'm watching, like, Robinhood and a bunch of stuff there, but I'm not going to mention it right now. I would say that you have some good setups for the week. You're keeping your eye to see if we can get above this high here. Definitely want a high above Wednesday's high. So that day here, you want to see a high today close. That would make me even more bullish. And for you guys that are doomsday guys, I mean, look, I can't deal with. A lot of you are constantly like doomsday people and this and that. Look, the market has, I mean, just to give you perspective, so many people I know that didn't take part in this rally. Please, from April to where we are today, you've had a huge increase. Enjoy that. Yes, the market is not going to go up every day. So for those of you that text me when the market is down, I don't control that. Are you trying to prove a point? I don't know. I'm here to try to help people navigate. I enjoy this. It helps hold me accountable to my own trading. These videos are just as much for everybody else as it is for me to hold myself accountable because I pride myself in what I do. But for you guys that think that everything is a doomsday scenario and you point to everything political, man, you guys are going to get left behind. I mean, you should invest. You should set stop losses. You should learn. You should educate yourself. And for those of you that are just waiting and waiting, life is going to pass you by and a potential wealth is going to pass you by. And so my suggestion would be is to educate yourself and invest appropriately. You see the market is doing what it's doing today, and there has to be a reason that the market is doing what it's doing today after what happened over the weekend. I mean, just use your head a little bit. So, all right. I hope everybody has a great week. I will be back on either Wednesday or Thursday for another video. Keep an eye on some of these names. Invest your money appropriately. Set your stop losses and don't be a putz.